Well, the Democratic Alliance yesterday laid a criminal complaint in the matter and claims the money was siphoned to the African National Congress. We'll speak to the Joburg ANC later this morning to respond to those particular allegations. Now, to discuss that actually further, we're joined in studio by ANC Gauteng spokesperson Lesego Makhubela. Lesego, good morning as always, and thank you very much for joining us.
No, thank you very much.
These allegations are very serious. I mean, we do know that the JPC says that 27 million, a part of it, was for arrears as well as interest for rental. But we have a situation where the Democratic Alliance maintains that it was vacant for more than a year. And now, to top it off, you've got the ANC somehow being embroiled in this whole matter. Talk to us about what you have established to be the facts around this case that now somehow involves the African National Congress.
I will demonstrate the facts as the interview continues. But what we are firstly dealing with, you are dealing with a former mayor who is going through the 5 stages of grief. She's in denial as we speak. She doesn't believe that she no longer has protection, blue lights. She no longer believes that her aircon-conditioned office, which prohibited her from going to historically black townships when she was a mayor, is no longer there. She doesn't believe that her salary that she used to get is no longer there. She's in denial. Now, let's go to the matter at hand. The contract was awarded when the DA was in power. It was awarded when Herman Mashaba was the mayor of Johannesburg. It was awarded on the 17th of August. The payment in question, it was paid when the former mayor who's undergoing 5 stages of grief, Mpho Phalatse, was a mayor. It was paid now in September when she was a mayor. The ANC, I don't understand why the ANC is embroiled in that. I said this morning to one of the...
You heard, though, the link that they make to say that the particular company that received the funds is linked to the African National Congress. That is the link that they are attempting to establish here.
The ANC is not in administration when the contract is awarded. The ANC is not in administration when the said company is paid that money. It is Mpho Phalatse when she was a mayor, that company was paid 27 million. Now, the link to a company, there is no leader of the ANC who's part of that company. If you roll your cameras, you will realize that the ANC caucus in Johannesburg actually was the first when the contract was awarded to this company. It complained about how the contract was awarded. But you are not rolling cameras. You are listening to somebody who's undergoing 5 stages of grief, who's still in denial that they are no longer a mayor.
But she could easily say, if we say here, I hold no one's brief, but nevertheless, she could easily be saying, if she were here, that there's the section of PRECA that sort of compels her to go and open a case. If we're talking about the prevention and combating of corrupt activities, it compels any citizen, a responsible citizen, to open a case if they hear of any form of corruption. Is that not the case? Is it grief or PRECA?
She's actually liable because she was in charge of the administration. Her administration was in charge of the payment. She was mayor when that was done, and you are correct to say that because the court will find when this matter, actually we can't wait for the matter to go to court. It will find that while she was mayor, and that's the point we've been making, that there's been a mismanagement of the Johannesburg finances under her watch and under the watch of the DA. And this explains why such things happen. So because she failed to play oversight together with her executive, she failed to play oversight, the money was paid while she's in office. When she's no longer in office, while she's in this crazy state, she goes to a Hillborough police station to actually open a case against herself. She literally went to hand herself over to the police against her own crimes because she failed to actually play oversight over the payment. Her officials, when she was in charge, failed in their fiduciary duties to make sure that this payment is made regularly, is made properly, and paid. So what she's not saying to the media is that, hey, sorry, the people of Johannesburg, the payment was made when I was mayor. What she's not telling the people of South Africa and of Johannesburg is that the ANC caucus, if you roll your cameras, you will realize that when Mashaba was a mayor, we complained. That is one of the contracts that Mashaba awarded that we complained about. Suddenly we are the accused. Because anyone who wants to get media attention, they have to say, no, the ANC is the accused.
Okay, speaking of media attention, you guys had given her 48 hours to apologize for calling you corrupt. The 48 hours lapsed last week. What is the position now? Are you going to institute legal action? You're suing her. What's happening now?
I believe that the ANC in Johannesburg will be able to continue with that, to pursue the legal action that needs to be followed, because it cannot continue to be normal that the DA continues to actually accuse us of what they are. They every day work very hard to accuse us of what they are. In this interview here, you believed that I was going to come to defend the ANC. Or else now I'm saying to you, the award of the contract is under Mashaba, DA. The payment is under Mpho Phalatse, DA. The ANC does not come in anywhere. We've just come into the administration to actually fix their mess and to bring financial prudence on how the city must make payments and all this sort of things. They came, they found a well-functioning city which had a budget surplus, which was able to pay contractors on time, which had clean audits, everything. We never had those sort of problems. They came in, they've collapsed all financial systems, and we are back now to fix their mess.
Herman Mashaba could easily disagree with that he found a very clean, well-running Johannesburg. But the broader accusation is that ANC in Gauteng is looking to destabilize the coalition governments. What's your take on that?
Well, your latter statement...
Around Herman Mashaba.
We have what we call the Auditor General Office. Go and look at the finances. And I think this is what I continuously repeat to media houses, that go and look at the Auditor General financial statements. The detail is in those statements. The 2015-2016 financial statements will tell you how the ANC ran the city of Johannesburg. In Tshwane, they kept on repeating a lie. And it became true because media houses and their research capacity failed to pick up on the lie, where they said they inherited a deficit. But the Auditor General statement says otherwise, because if then this lie that they keep on telling and they believe that it can actually be true, you have to simply go to the Auditor General statement. So these lies have short legs. We are shortening the legs of these lies that they keep telling. The Auditor General statement, which is independent, which actually looks at the book and tells you where was Joburg when we left it, where was the city of Tshwane when we left it, where was the city of Ekurhuleni when we left it, and that will tell you where we are. The ANC did not put a motion of no confidence on Dagama in Johannesburg. It was parties that were in coalition with the Democratic Alliance. The ANC did not put the motion of no confidence in the mayor who needs medical attention now in Johannesburg. The ANC did not put those motions. It was multi-party decisions. In fact, even parties that were in coalition with the DA. No one is asking a question, what happened when we were electing the new Premier of Gauteng? He was voted in by other parties as well. He was not just voted in by the ANC. Other parties expressed their confidence even in him. So the multi-party parties represented in councils even in Johannesburg voted to us Dagama, voted with the ANC to install the new mayor and formed a multi-party government. So it can't be that the ANC is out to actually destabilize the running of the cities when they are in anarchy. I mean, if you look at in Tshwane, in 3 years, one mayor in 3 years. So any coalition led by the DA is chaotic. It becomes anarchy. If you look at the financials, the finances of the city of Johannesburg, Tshwane, no bank even wants to touch them. Capitec can't even...
We're running out of time. I want to talk about Ekurhuleni a little bit, because we understand that there's a motion of no confidence there that will be coming pretty soon. Is the ANC looking to perhaps reappoint or have the former mayor there come back? Zandile Masina?
We have filed the motion. The motion is already in. We're in discussion. The ANC does not... We have accepted the fate that the electorate gave to us, even when in all these cities. And that's another thing that the DA keeps on saying. They keep on thinking they won elections. They did not win the elections. If you aggregate the number of seats in each council, the ANC has the majority of seats. We have a majority of seats in Johannesburg. We have a majority of seats in Tshwane. We have a majority of seats in Ekurhuleni.
But you needed the minority. You needed the other parties to form government.
Yeah, what we can do...
So in this instance, what are the exact issues that the Ekurhuleni ANC has said have led to them filing this particular motion?
The biggest issue is that there was a tabling of the budget by the mayor without consultation with communities. And that tabling of the budget resulted in the anarchy we saw in Tembisa, where there was where there was no budget allocated for historically black townships, where there was no consultation with all those communities, where the budget was actually directed to ensure that they service affluent white suburbs. And therefore, in terms of Section 56, it's a requirement. It's not like it's a by the way. It's a requirement that when you table a budget in a city, you must go and consult communities. There was no public consultation. The mayor went from and that's why her own member, who was the MMC of Finance, resigned and published a letter that he can be in breach of the law. He can be in breach of the law, going to rubber stamp on illegality, going to present a budget which was done without public consultation. And therefore he resigned as MMC in Ekurhuleni. And that's why we have put that particular motion. We're in discussion with other parties who are represented, all the parties who are represented in the city of Ekurhuleni. And in no time, I'm sure when all discussions are done, we will be able to speak to the media.
How is Action SA towards you? Because we know that their leader has said anything that involves the African National Congress could probably result in him leaving his own party.
Our attitude towards any party or any party leader will be determined by the attitude of those parties towards service delivery in all these cities, towards restoring law and order in those cities, towards ensuring that at the center of our work is the people first. Anyone who believes that their feelings come first, we speak to everyone, irregardless of their political ideology, irregardless of how we feel about them. But we speak to everybody on the basis of what must happen in Tembisa. We don't want what happened in Tembisa to continue. We don't want what is happening in Tshwane to actually bedevil all these cities everywhere. We'll speak to everybody, all the parties. There's no party that we are not speaking to. And therefore, after we have spoken and we are able to form a government, there's no problem. And that is our attitude. Our attitude is purely informed by the attitude of these people that we are speaking with, on how they view service delivery and administration to our people.
And then just in closing, how are BGMs coming along?
They are coming very well. They are coming very well.
And what picture is starting to form? It looks like those that have nominated, what picture is starting to form? Are many perhaps swayed by the preference of the PEC? You had there Paul Mashatile, you had Phumulo Masualle, you had President Cyril Ramaphosa. You also had Nomvula Mkonyane.
Well, it will be sangomizing for us to then begin to say, no, this is the picture, whether branches are defying or upholding the recommendations of the PEC, because immediately after the branch concludes its process, they seal it, and then it goes into, so it will be opened at the PGC to say this is the person who's getting nominations. There's a number of people who are being nominated. We belong to branches and all sorts of things. But the official outcomes of that will come when we unseal the nomination forms, and we'll be able to get a picture of all these branches across the province, who they are preferring to lead. And that will then inform delegates going forward. But now, for me to comment on who's top, it's sangomizing. I don't have
all
those
right,
abilities.
Lesego, thank you very much, though, for your
Thank
time.
you very much.
That's the ANC's Gauteng spokesperson, Lesego Makhubela.